So on last week, I released a video titled Brandon Reveals the Freight Rates That Shippers Pay Freight Brokers. And we had some different comments on that video as we usually do. But anytime I make a video on freight rates, I'm always going to have a lot of different comments from truck drivers. And the reason why that is because rates directly affect the bottom line for truck drivers. That's a very sensitive topic as it pertains to the driver. So we had some comments on this video, but we had one comment that was extra thoughtful, extra helpful, extra beneficial, I think, to freight brokers. So I decided to share that with you today in this video. And I'm going to share you the contents of what that truck driver shared so you and I can have a better understanding of what the truck driver wants from the truck driver's perspective. Because at the end of the day, we can have all of the freight in the world, but as non-asset freight brokers, we don't own trucks. So we have to make relationships, develop those relationships with people who do own trucks. So come on inside, sit back, relax, and enjoy this video. Now let's get into the business. Freight brokers and truckers have this kind of dicey relationship. Although we're supposed to be on the same team, then we're kind of really not on the same team because we have two different agendas. The freight broker is constantly trying to figure out how to get freight, not just for today, but for tomorrow and next month and next year. So we're not always looking to get the top rate, whereas carriers have a different agenda. They are thinking about how I can get paid today the most for this particular lane as I can possibly get paid. Because they have a truck and they have all types of maintenance and bills that come with that truck. So they have to pay for that truck. So they're trying to get the most bang for the lane, so to speak. And with two different agendas, you're going to have some friction. You're going to have some headbutting sometimes between the carrier and the freight broker. And I think the most important thing that we can do is to have a better understanding of what I am trying to accomplish as a freight broker, and I have a better understanding of what you are trying to accomplish as a truck driver. And I think the most important thing that we can do through all of that is communicate, because we know that communication, effective communication, where I'm sitting down and I'm able to articulate to you what my concerns are. You can do the same with me. Now we have a better understanding through the proper communication. And remember this, proper communication is not necessarily about agreeing on every topic. There are going to be some things that we don't agree on. There are going to be some things that I see differently than a truck driver. That's just how it works. That's how the cookie crumbles. I have a different interest that I have to protect than the truck driver. The same with the truck driver. He has a certain interest that he's protecting. He has a business, a company that he is running in a certain way. And the whole purpose of that is so that he can earn a certain profit, so that he can continue to move his business forward. All I have is respect for that. And I think that the trucker probably has that same respect for me, understanding that I'm in a business and I have a responsibility. That responsibility is to make that business profitable. So although, again, we have two different agendas, we can still come to some type of understanding so that we can move our relationship forward. Now, without further ado, I want to share with you Rob Waters, a truck driver's response to that last video that I made. Brandon reveals the freight rates that shippers pay freight brokers. In my humble opinion, he's simply saying, this is what Brandon, a freight broker, has to say about this topic. Now what I want you to understand is what a truck driver wants from a truck driver's perspective. So here it is.
So let's see what Rob has to say. Rob says, I'd just like to give some insight from the driver's perspective. I can dig that, Rob. When I look at the board, the most important thing I look at immediately after doing a search is number one, the credit rating. Number two, I want to know what the days to pay is for that particular broker. Number three, I want to look at what the rate per mile is. And number four, I want to check the rate. Then Rob goes on to tell us in detail what he means. He says any brokers with more than 30 days to pay or less than an A credit rating, I delete them from my list immediately. So listen up to that, brokers. If you have less than an A rating, that's not necessarily favorable. So you want to get your credit squared away. So when Rob sees your credit or any other carrier sees you listed with the load on the board, they can see that you have an A rating. Now, the next thing he says is if the rate per mile is less than $2, it gets deleted. You're going to have some carriers like Rob. If it's less than $2 a mile, he's not going to even consider it. I can definitely understand that. If it doesn't work for you, you have to pass on it. Then he says, and any loads that have the weight listed or any other details, I won't even look at it unless I'm desperate. So he's saying, hey, if it doesn't have the weight listed, if it does not have the details of the load, how much you're paying for the load, unless I'm desperate, I'm not going to even look at it. As a driver, I'm dealing with a lot of other things. I don't have time to call 10 agents to ask for details about the load. So when you are posting the load and you leave all of the fields empty, you are getting ignored and passed over for the other loads that have the details listed. Great information. All he's saying is, don't go out there and post a load just telling me where it's picking up, where it's dropping off without giving me the details. If you do that, I won't even look at it. Also, if you tell me the weight is one thing and it's drastically higher, I put your name and number on a do not use list. I understand that it's hard to be exact on the weight, but 10,000 pounds over is not cool at all. I get that what Rob is saying. Now, at the same time, if I give you a weight that is lower than the weight that you pick up, then of course we can make up for that with an accessorial charge, the overweight accessorial charge. Then he says, also, just one more thing that is helpful. When you get a load book, establish text communication with the driver. It's often a lot easier to communicate and keep you in the loop when we can just send a quick message instead of calling. What he's saying here is sometimes freight brokers overdo it. You call too much, you start to get on the driver's nerves. What he's saying here is if we can just establish text communication for the trivial things, the little small things you need, you can just shoot me a text instead of bothering me, calling me while I'm driving. And then he says, he finishes up, he says, I hope this helps. We should be working together on this to make everyone's life easier. I 100% agree with you, Rob. We should be working together. When we communicate, especially communicating like this, it makes my job and your job a whole lot easier. Thank you so much for providing this wonderful and valuable information.
So in my humble opinion, this is exactly the type of communication that needs to exist between the freight broker and the carrier. What it does is helps us to understand each other better. And when we understand each other better, then we can make life easier for you and you can make life a whole lot easier for us. And remember this, if you don't remember anything else I say in this video, my friend, when we start working together versus against each other, things might start getting a whole lot better. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. I certainly hope this information has been helpful. If you want to learn more about the freight broker business, I'll leave a link in the description. You can sign up for my free 5-video series titled How the Load Movement Process Works. It'll give you a look into the freight broker business, let you see exactly how it works before you decide to come into it. And then if you want to know how we find shippers as freight brokers, those customers that we work with on a day in and day out basis, I'm going to leave you a free link so you can watch my video titled How Freight Brokers Find Shippers. So until the next time, I wish you the very best in your life and business. See you at the top because the bottom is much too crowded.